It's my birthday, and for a present, I don't want anyone to complain about this video structure because it will be all over the place. I want to talk about Godzilla. It's kind of fitting because Godzilla is kind of all over the place. Don't let Big Brother get to you. I don't like to think about it in different universes, different canons, different timelines. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. I can't wrap my head around Godzilla. The title and thumbnail kind of mean nothing. Oh, I'm not exactly sure what I was wrong about, but this will basically just be a redone, done up version of my original video. This video is just an excuse for me to practice my editing skills. But yeah, I want to talk about all the Godzilla films because I really like Godzilla. I really like that funny little animal. I don't know, it's some I haven't seen, which is valid. Look how many there are. But I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen this one, or this one, or this one. Wait, is that the animated one? Yeah, it is. But I've been told I'm not really missing out on anything. So these kind of just aren't Godzilla. So yeah, let's just kill them off real quick. Nor have I seen all of the American remakes, but I won't be covering them today because I want to cover the Godzilla timeline, the non-existent Godzilla timeline. I feel like now that we're up to -1, which is a complete fresh reboot, there won't be any more continuations because Godzilla's died 3 different times now. 3 times, actually. Wait, die and destroy all monsters. Monsters. No. Okay, never mind. Godzilla dies twice. But that's not as many as I thought. Fucking Millennium, fuck you. As I mentioned, Destroy All Monsters, that is, I think, what ruined the continuity, at least for me. No, it definitively destroyed the continuity, because it's set in 1999. It doesn't really make much sense. But I can try and explain it. As well as I can. It obviously this film was to show the horrors of atomic bombs and war in general. So a funny little lizard guy is originally a whole metaphor of how dangerous war is. I can go on about this film for hours and hours, but what is important to this film in the overall timeline is that Godzilla dies. Godzilla dies at the end of this film. The film starts, Godzilla raids again. It's a brand new Godzilla, which is soft canon that she is a woman. From now on, I call her she anyway. I like to think Godzilla as a woman. I'll dig into my theory later on. I promise it makes sense. Basically, a tiny bit of a cheap cash grab. I mean, it did cancel the series until King Kong versus Godzilla, which is just another cash grab. But this one's way worse than Godzilla Raids Again. I think this is the worst the series ever gets. Even if I absolutely love the suit design. The suit design is immaculate. I have a little sticker behind me. It again, I think is cute. It's a cute cash grab, even if it doesn't have any anti-war themes. And I think the whole appeal to Godzilla for me is the politics. I hate real world politics. I will only listen to politics if it involves a big lizard. Mothra versus Godzilla, which is the first in the series. Well, not the first in this new series that new revival Godzilla, where Godzilla gets political again. And once again, I think this is on par with the original. The original is a masterpiece in its own way, but for a Godzilla film, I think this is so perfectly well done. They managed to put politics in there so naturally, especially how Mothra had her own film a few years before, and that was all about like the dangers of capitalism, the dangers of rich people and the government, and they managed to fit in the themes quite perfectly with this new thing. I don't think Godzilla just needs to be like an anti-war series. It can approach any sort of politics. That is what I hate so much about the American films, because they don't do anything. They don't do anything, especially with King Kong, being so anti-capitalist, having such strong anti-capitalist themes. The American films don't. The American reboot series, like this one, they don't do anything. They don't do anything with the theme, and it's why I'm refusing to talk about them today. We've got Ghidorah, a three-headed monster, which I guess is three-headed space monster, I guess. We've got Invasion of Astro Monster, which is a kind of like a spin-off. Godzilla is in it for like 3 minutes, so we don't care about that. That doesn't add on to Godzilla. This is another film, which is also maybe completely optional to watch because this doesn't mean anything to the timeline. Neither does this. Neither does Son of Godzilla. This is where Godzilla adopts a child, and it's the ugliest fucking thing ever. This may be important to watch. I wouldn't recommend it, but to see all the memes about Millennium, you may need to watch this. Just know Godzilla adopts a really ugly child, and then we're not covering this film yet. This is kind of the end of this is kind of the end of this the Godzilla timeline. Godzilla versus Hedorah, which is a completely optional film to watch. I see it more as a spin-off, but I think it is well worth the watch. Even though the continuity is quite loose in this. Same with following films like this one and this one. I forgot their names, but this film brings the original 1954 politics back, but with like a modern, relevant spin to it, and I think it works so well. I love how. Also, this is probably the most artsy film of the bunch. It's very very artsy, very very weird, psychedelic, and quite interesting. Completely unrelated, it kind of gives me a similar vibe to Funeral Parade of Roses. Fantastic film. Maybe the same year, actually. Let me look. Back onto the Googles. Godzilla vs. Hedorah. 1971. Oh, okay, just a few years after. This is not a good image. This is not a good image of Godzilla to use. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Which is... People are going to be upset. We can see the budget drop. You can really see the budget just fall flat on its face, especially how they were supposed to cap off the series here. They did not have enough budget to make this film. They surprisingly got around really well with Hedorah, but Mechagodzilla felt so lazy bringing such a beloved character back and making a robot counterpart. Wow, so interesting. Wow. Then there's this film, which, as you can see, the poster has translators, but doesn't have translators in the film, so I don't care. Got the Return. This is supposed to be an anniversary film, which I say supposed to be. It was an anniversary film. They didn't realize that it was supposed to revive the entire franchise back, and I thought this was a really good opener film. I don't know what took them so long to make Biollante next, but it really worked. It really worked. But and all of these are still before Destroyah monsters in the timeline. This is where people say it kind of splits off, but as a Legend of Zelda fan, I am fucking sick. I'm sick of all that. I'm just gonna say it's the same Goji. It's the same it's the same baby. And I love the original kaijus. If only they stuck with it, because next we've got King Ghidorah, but this time King Ghidorah has a completely different backstory to the show I got King Ghidorah, which is weird, and I still can't wrap my head around that. But sure, they can be two King Ghidorahs in the same universe. Sure. This is such a strong comeback. I wonder what's next. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, it's Battle for Earth next. I don't really care for this film. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay. It's forgettable, but I don't think it's bad. I'll put it here because I love Mothra, but I feel like just nothing actually happens in this film. But then we've got this film, which has annoyed me in the past. I really like this film, but mostly because it is a direct sequel to Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, because this film's called Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla II, which is quite a lazy title. But yeah, surprisingly, the whole thing wait, this isn't even Mechagodzilla, is it? No, it's not. This is okay. Ignore that fumble right there. But but I didn't like Mechagodzilla because they brought back a character and just made her a big robot, which is so uninteresting. But then we bring back that lazy idea and add one of my favorite characters ever, Godzilla Jr. And this is where you cannot say Godzilla is a male. You cannot convince me Godzilla is male. Yeah, he's a male here, but Godzilla fucking dies in this film. She actually lays an egg in this film, and Godzilla Jr. gets looked after by Mickey, not that Mickey, another Mickey. And I think this is such a cute film. Although Mechagodzilla and Godzilla B plot is alright, but I love the main plot of Mickey. But I love the whole thing of Mickey looking after Godzilla Jr. because Godzilla Jr. is adorable. And then we've got this film, maybe like the worst thing I've ever fucking watched. I can't lie. This its own category, Space Godzilla, awful, awful thing. I It's awful. It's terrible. Don't watch it. And then we've got Godzilla vs. Destroyer. This is where Godzilla dies. This is where our beloved Godzilla, all the way from Godzilla Raids Again, at least in my own messed up autistic mind, this is where Godzilla dies. And it's such a beautiful end. I sobbed at this film. God, and also this is the one kaiju, like this is the one. So there's only been a few original kaijus in the Heisei reboot series so far. I wish there were more because they brought back Ghidorah, they brought back Mothra, they brought back Mechagodzilla. But Biollante and but kaiju's like Biollante and Destroyah have become so iconic. I wish they had more original kaiju because they are such wonderful characters. Destroyah is the one I have the most hatred for because they're so fucking evil. They're so evil. They're generally so evil. I am in a lot of Godzilla films, it's kind of loose if Godzilla is even supposed to be rooted against, because after Godzilla, after the Mothra film, she kind of becomes a hero figure for Japan with with monsters like Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla being the main villain. Also, I hated the little dragon kaiju in this. What was the point? I didn't like them very much. I think they were from another Toho, like another early Toho film. I could be getting that mixed up. Like, Destroyer is such a cunt. I hate Destroyer. Awful person. I don't. Basically, in Space Godzilla, Godzilla Junior gets kidnapped, and Godzilla needs to get Godzilla Junior back, and yeah, that's the whole film. In Destroyer, Godzilla kills Godzilla Junior. Godzilla needs to see that happen, and then beats the shit out of Destroyer, but kills herself with her. Is Destroyer a lady or a man? I can't remember. But they die together. Godzilla Junior revives and sees her mother die. They see each other die. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And it every time I watch a film, I sob. It's generally heartbreaking seeing such two beloved characters seeing each other like die. It's heartbreaking. A lot of people say Godzilla 2000 is a reboot, and you can say it's like a complete fresh continuity if you want. This is Godzilla Junior in my mind. Okay, it seems that my recording is a bit too thin, but you can't actually see where I put Godzilla 2000. I love this film so much. It reminds me a lot of Wes Anderson. Okay, I'm gonna need to stop recording and come back and maybe stretch it a little. I missed it. Fuck. There we go. Playing absolute peak right now. Okay, wait, why is it sound like I broke my streak once, and now I need help. Stop falling over. Oh no. I got this right. Maybe it's one thing. Oh, okay, right the other window. You should know like this way. That's a please. Please. What happened? Huh? I got sound man. This right. Anyway, we're on to Godzilla versus Megaguirus. Now this is the era of Godzilla which is like the most confusing because it's kind of all over the place. I do really like Megaguirus. Maybe not as much as 2000, but it's pretty good. My favorite, one of the appeals for Godzilla for me as a series is all like the human B plots, I guess. I mean, in the 2000 films, Godzilla is more of the B plot. But I really like the human drama. I really like the politics and the drama. And then I've heard like these lot, there's like this one, and then there's this one, and then there's this one, and then like there's this one, which are all just kind of Godzilla, different kaiju's fighting each other, which doesn't sound really interesting. And there's Shin Godzilla, which is a complete fresh reboot. I do quite like Shin Godzilla. It's not my favorite reboot of the series. It's not my favorite take of Godzilla. I feel like it's a tad bit too edgy. I don't really like the design. I don't know. It's just not what appeals to me. And then there's Godzilla -1, which is getting a sequel earlier this year, which I'm very much looking forward to. Maybe I'll make more Godzilla videos up until then. But yeah, I cannot wait for Godzilla. I forgot what it's called. But Godzilla Minus Zero. Yeah, I cannot wait for it because this is such a good, fresh um return for the series. Godzilla really, really needed minus one. It is breathtaking good. It's breathtaking. Wait, this is my complete tier list. Yeah. Oh wait, are you saying I need to just move the thing slightly more? I thought I was gonna fit more in. It turns out I only needed room for Megaguirus, which I didn't even need extra room anyway, because I know I'm not for that. I think Megaguirus is a. I love the design for this is one of my favorite designs for